Hey guys, how's everyone doing? It's Alex coming at you on a Friday afternoon from sunny Southern California. This is what's playing in the background here. Arthur Russell, The World of Arthur Russell. It's a compilation on soul jazz records that came out in, I think, 2003. So I decided to pull some compilations sort of inspired by Mr. James Buttery, who showed some of his favorite comps. I don't pull out comps a whole lot. I don't collect them, but the few that I have I really enjoy, so I figured I'd show a few of these. This is the first one. Arthur Russell, a fantastic composer, DJ, cello player, multi-instrumentalist, just really a jack of all trades, and really a genius. Primarily worked in the 1980s out of New York City. Really started in the club scene in the 80s in New York City. Got involved with a lot of house music, electronic music, disco type things, and it's just an amazing career, definitely worthy of a compilation like this. The 2 LP set. There's the inner sleeve that kind of shows some of the different albums that were the source material for the comp. A lot of club, 12 inches. But then there's an album like this one here, which is World of Echo, which is an absolute sort of modern classical ambient masterpiece. I do have a reissue of that one. I didn't pull it out, but in addition to being a great producer, the guy was a classically trained cello player, a brilliant vocalist too as well. The track that you hear is more kind of a combination of some of his club upbringing and some more experimental elements. But it is a fantastic comp. I think it's been reissued since. I know Big Star is showing some Arthur Russell stuff a couple of times. Definitely underrated, highly recommended stuff. And this comp is a great place to start. He died when he was only 40 years old of AIDS, but he was fairly prolific. So I think there's still stuff that's coming out, currently. He recorded a ton of stuff, and a lot of it is still seeing the light of day. Next one is a Brazilian comp. I know, James, you showed a more recent one, but this one I picked up at my local record store. It's called Brasiliana Racine e Development, and I believe that means in Portuguese roots and development. This apparently only existed as a white label promo. Not real familiar. The label is Phonogram. It's a Brazilian pressing. Sounds really good. Has some familiar names like Nana Vasconcelos, Baden Powell. Other than that, I don't know a lot of these names. There's a band called MPV4 that has a couple tracks on here. Escola de Samba de Cidade has a couple tracks on here. Really good stuff, really nice mix. There's a lot of instrumental stuff that's kind of more instrumental, Afro-Cuban influenced. Total of 11 tracks on this one. Really good. If you ever run into this one, and of course, awesome iconic art cover too. So I'm gonna flip the record real quick here. All right, next one. One that I championed quite a bit last year. Tropical Drums of Deutschland, compiled by Jan Schulze. This came out on the Music for Dreams label sometime last year. I know Mr. Camploni picked this one up as well. So what this is artists from Germany from the mid and late 80s. And the common thread here is, as the title suggests, tropical, tribal, percussive, folk jazz tracks from that era. There's 4 tracks actually, I think. 4 tracks from a band called Bushman, from their 1988 record Total, which I picked up fairly recently, because of this great comp. I got lucky and found like pretty much a brand new copy for a decent price. Not an easy record to find, but absolutely fantastic. A couple of the tracks are a little bit dated, but most of them, and especially the ones on the comp, are absolutely fantastic. No vocals, it's all instrumental, percussive stuff. Really, really good. Bushman. Other artists on here, Rudiger Opperman is a harp player. Argile or Argyle, I don't know how you pronounce it, a couple tracks on here. There's even a track here with it's called Drumming Birds with Bob Moses and Billy Martin. So yeah, a few of these tracks on here are just really only came out on 7-inch and are really, really hard to find. I have been kind of trying to track down a couple of these records, but anyway, fantastic comp. Highly recommended. The next one, I think James, you kind of alluded to this series on Jazzman Records Limited, and this is Spiritual Jazz 7, which is Islam. Beautiful cover art here. There's the track listing, and it's a gatefold. It's got all the information about the source material. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. Diana, I know you showed. So there's a track from Maurice McIntyre's Humility in the Light of the Creator. A very awesome, rare record. There's a Yusef Lateef track, Morning. And then maybe my favorite here is from the East New York Ensemble, the music. The track is Melvana. Fantastic vibes on that. One of my favorite vibes tracks of all time. But this is the only one I have of the series. Definitely my favorite of the ones that I've heard. Yeah, I look forward if they do a Japanese jazz compilation on the series. That'll be something to check out. The next one is Bangs and Works. This is volume 2, The Best of Chicago Footwork. So footwork is a genre of instrumental electronic music that developed in the 90s through the 2000s. Has its roots in hip-hop, in breakdancing, disco even. and you know it was created out of these these dance parties in the Chicago underground and in the south side and west side of Chicago. And here's a picture of all the folks that are featured here. Most notably R.P. Boo, basically one of the founders of the genre. DJ Rashad as well, another one of the big names on here. Has a couple of fantastic records, solo records as well, and Jay Lynn, who also has a couple of really outstanding records. So yeah, the music style here is highly syncopated, super fast, instrumental hip hop, amazing samples, soul and jazz samples, neck breaking speeds. It's super fast, and at the same time it almost feels it has like a psychedelic, kind of drugged out feeling, rhythm at times. A lot of these tracks do. There's a lot of vocal samples as well. It's really interesting stuff. Yeah, if you're at all interested in hip-hop instrumental music, this is well worth checking out. I think this comp is a little bit hard to find these days, but should be available to sample in a lot of places. And couldn't go without showing something from a numero group. So this is Salsa Boricua de Chicago. So this is a 2 LP set, a numero group out of Chicago. This is actually the only numero group thing I think that I have. And this one is particularly interesting because I used to live only a few blocks from the Puerto Rican neighborhood on the west side of Chicago. And basically this is a document of all the bands from the late 70s and early 80s, the salsa bands that used to play in and around that neighborhood. Comes with a really cool booklet, some fantastic photography of the bands. And yeah, I mean, the music is absolutely fantastic. If you at all are interested in Latin music, salsa, anything like that, if you enjoy those rhythms, those Afro-Cuban, those Caribbean rhythms of Puerto Rico and Cuba and so on, definitely worth checking out. It's really well curated, really nice set. And I think these are still pretty inexpensive, so yeah, check that out. All right, hope everyone has a good weekend, and we'll see you again soon.